Hi guys! So today I wanted to talk about my spiritual awakening and my whole healing journey and everything that's happened for me in approximately the past 15 years. And it intuitively came to me to talk to you all about this because I felt like by sharing my story, it was going to help you on your journey wherever you are on that timeline for you. So I was very normal. Well, I guess I wasn't very normal as a child, but I didn't believe in past lives. I wasn't really sure about all that. I was like, those people are a little weird. Even though I did do things like talk to dead people and talk to fairies when I was a child, I just didn't really think of it as abnormal. And then later when I was in high school and I started realizing these things, I was like, well, that just doesn't make any sense, because I was just in denial that I could do that. And then I started to really spiritually wake up when I was in my early 20s. And this whole spiritual awakening thing has been going on for years and years and years. I am 37. So I don't really think too terribly much about, my spiritual awakening. But then sometimes I'll spend time around normal people and I'm really like, you guys are so asleep. So I was like, I need to make the video about this today. So when I was, especially because I'm having a lot of clients lately that are all my previous self. And so I was like, yeah, I need to make this video. So in my early 20s, I started to wake up. I immediately left where I grew up. I grew up in Florida. I hated it there. It was too sunny. There were too many people. Was not having any of it. I always loved the snow. I loved the winter. I knew I wanted to live up north. So as soon as I graduated college. As soon as I graduated college, I quit my job. I put everything I owned in my car. I had a 1989 Grand Marquis station wagon with wood on the sides at the time. Fabulous car, by the way. It was so much fun to drive. It's like sitting on a couch driving down the side of the road. So I had one of those. I put the cat in the car, all the contents of everything I owned, and I just drove away. Okay, so I drove about 4 states up, stopped, decided this is where I wanted to live, and I just intuitively knew as soon as I got to it's where I still currently live. I was like, oh, I'm meant to be here. Like, I could just feel this is where I'm supposed to be. I was always supposed to be here, and I was like, man, I wish I grew up here. So it's winter here. The people are lovely. There's hardly any people here. I'm very happy. So anyway, I started to get into crystals. I started to go to Barnes & Noble and read all of the spiritual books at the time. I ended up picking up Dr. Richard Bartlett's book, Matrix Energetics, and I was intrigued. I read the whole thing and I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I read Quantum Touch by, I don't remember his name, Richard something maybe as well. I don't really remember. But anyway, I read that book and then I was like, you know what, I want to do this quantum energy healing thing. I want to give it a try. So I found his daughter. She was doing sessions remotely over the phone. I booked a session with her. This was about in 2008. And I remember I asked the question, which to me seems so silly now. I was like, okay, so how does this work? Because I'm over here in the eastern United States and you're 12 states away in Washington, and how is the quantum energy healing thing gonna work? Am I gonna feel it while it's happening? I didn't get quantum entanglement at the time. I was like, huh? So anyway, she's like, yeah, it's gonna work. I was like, okay. So I booked the session. I was willing to see what happened and I had a great session. I was like, oh, this stuff really works. I felt so much better afterward and I could feel the shifts and the changes. I was like, this is nuts. I was like, great, I'm going to a seminar. So I did. I went to 3 Matrix Energetic seminars, one in 2008, one in 2009, one in 2010. I found one of my best friends there. I started practicing all the time. I did all of the qualifications for the certification for Matrix Energetics. Never turned it in because I am that person, but I did do all the qualifications, and I never turned it in because as soon as I had done all the qualifications, I felt like in my body I had embodied the work, and I knew that I was doing, and I know that knowing that you know what you're doing is more important than the piece of paper that says that you know what you're doing. So I never bothered turning it in. Anyway, so I was practicing on people and I was having great results and I was having fun and I was getting a lot better. So I was doing sessions on myself. I had practice buddies that went to the seminars with me. We all did sessions on each other. I started doing sessions with Dr. Richard Bartlett's daughter. Her name is Justice. And every month or every couple of months I do a session with her. I met someone else named Angela. I started doing sessions with Angela. She didn't do Matrix Energetics. She did something different. But my soul was leading me down that path, right? It was pulling me along. So I had so many issues back then, you guys. I can't even tell you. I had lists and lists and lists of them. I had a notebook of them. I knew what they all were and I could tell you all about them at the time. Now I have no clue what they are because they're all gone. And I was just doing what my soul was telling me to do. So I just kept doing the energy work and doing the next intuitive step. And I for a very long time, it probably was about 4 years, I did one energy session a month, either with Angela or with Justice or with some other energy healer or Jaden or something. And so I just kept resolving my issues, resolving things that were wrong, because now I look back on it and I understand it was like the energy of like transformation had like entered my life. So it was slowly layer by layer by layer clearing out massive patterns in my subconscious and all the layers of my energy field. So as the years went by, I got to experience, and I suddenly realized in the middle of it that the energy was like coming down. It was clearing out the top chakras and then clearing out this one, and then it was clearing out this one, and then it was clearing out this one. It was like literally going down my body, and it took like 10 years for this energy to like go all the way down. Okay, so all the issues that were happening at that chakra, like it would take about a year or two, somewhere in there, for those to resolve. And it was never like one chakra at once. It was like this one would start to resolve, and then this one gets started, and they would like overlap. And it was just so interesting to watch the energy do that. Now I feel like the energy's totally hit the bottom. The energy's now starting to move itself back up my body, but I feel like it's going to move up in a much faster fashion than what it took for it to move down. Okay, so at some point I decided to drive out to Oregon. I feel like that was maybe around 2010, and I didn't have a job, and I spent all my time just having the best time. I sat in the river all day, and I went to the nature preserve, and I talked to the trees, and I really just had just the most lovely time. And then I decided to drive back home, put the cat in the car, the same cat, the previous cat. Okay, same cat back in the car, drove back to where I live now, which is my home. Feels like my home, energetically. And decided to stop wearing socks and sandals, because when I was in Oregon, I just decided wearing socks and sandals was the thing to do. And then I got home, I'm like, this is a terrible fashion statement. What was I thinking? Stop wearing socks and sandals. And resumed life. I went back, got a job, you know, resumed life with all my friends, etc. And at that point, I remember I went through that phase where like my third eye opened, and I started seeing like all the spirits and all the dead people, which freaked me out. And brought up like a lot of trauma, so I got to resolve that. Highly exciting. It took like several months in order for me to go through. Basically, a spiritual awakening is where all your like issues, fears, traumas come up for you to like resolve them, release them, clear them, and transmute them, which is what happened for years. When I was on my way to Oregon is when I remember my first past life. So I feel like I was 23-ish in that realm. And was I 20? I couldn't have been 23 because I'm 37, whatever. Anyway, at some point I remember my first past life, and what happened was the Rolling Stones came on the radio, and then all these images came flooding into my mind of me being a girl in a car driving across the United States with my friends listening to the Rolling Stones on the radio. And it was in the very late 60s. I feel like it was 1969. And just all these images of everything that happened in that life just came flooding back. And I died in 1974 in that life. And I was born in 1948. My name was Marie, and I remember my parents, we were of Polish descent. I mean, we were fully American, but I just remember my last name, it was Polish. So anyway, all that came through. As soon as that came through, then I remembered other lifetimes that I had. So after I was Marie, I actually had another lifetime where I was born in 1975 and died in 1982. And I was a boy, and my name was John. I died in a car crash. That came back to me. In this life, I was born in 1983, in case you're wondering. And then all these other lifetimes, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, came up one after another, after another, after another. And I could just vividly see the images in my mind and what I was doing, and all the emotions came through. And that's when I realized that the emotions that you feel in other lifetimes, you actually feel in this lifetime as well. Now, the universe is holographic, so what's in one square is in all the squares, okay? So some massive feeling that you felt in another lifetime, whether it was intense love or intense difficulty or intense whatever, fill in the blank, that feeling state will actually be reflected back to you in your current reality, and it's probably only like a very minor feeling. So I would notice if I was like feeling this sort of like anxiety about my finances or something, and no sort of emotion like dominating my life or anything, but when I would go into that emotion and I would like what is this from, then I would be taken to another lifetime where the anxiety was the dominant feature. So that was when I suddenly realized that, oh, every emotion I have in this lifetime, there's actually another me having that exact same emotional experience in a totally different time period, in a totally different circumstance, but what correlates is the emotion, okay? The emotion's the same. So it's actually very easy to trust, to track, to trace past lives when you just like follow the emotion, because the resonance is the same, okay? Super easy. So anyway, I'm remembering all these past lives, clearing them, transmuting them, all this trauma's lifting from my body. All of this is, of course, is a delight. And so that's all happening. And every time I release a layer of trauma and I let myself feel better and better and better, my life fell more and more into alignment. I felt happier. I started to really release these like really heavy energetic patterns that I'd had in my field. And one time, I remember, I think it was 2012, I did an energy session, and then right after it, it was like I had this huge energetic release. Now, I'd had several energy sessions that culminated up into this major energy session. I had this huge energetic release, and then I realized I had felt shell-shocked my entire life, and then it just stopped. Like, it was almost like this radio frequency had been playing in the background, and then the radio was turned off, and I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to not feel traumatized. How amazing is that? So I remember when that happened, I couldn't, like, as soon as I felt better, I was like, how did I get up every day? Like, how did I go to work and manage to like do my life like feeling like that? Because I felt so bad. So bad that I can't even comprehend how bad I used to feel, because I feel so great now. Like, I feel fabulous all the time. Sometimes I feel a little tired, like a human tired, but it's not it's not anything like it was before, like in the least, okay? Like, I am not complaining. Like, my bad day now wasn't even my best day back then. So the more I released all of the issues and the things that were bothering me and the trauma that was like held in my body and the cells, and the more I released it, the more grounded, centered, happy that I felt, etc. And now, like, on a daily basis, I feel great. Aside from the random human stuff that happens, like, I just can't even think like how I used to function before on a daily basis. So what I wanted to tell you is, if you are going through a spiritual awakening, you are going through the dark night of the soul, things are hard, you're like, oh my goodness, when is this going to get better? There is light at the end of the tunnel. You do need to do what your soul tells you to do, though. You do need to follow the internal compass of what your intuition is telling you to do, whatever that thing is. And it may be something different. It probably is something different for you than it was for me, maybe. My main thing was to do the energy healing, and there was a period of a few years there, somewhere in the middle, where I didn't do energy healing, and then I actually went back to it, and I realized that that was one of my greatest mistakes, was not doing the energy healing for a few years, because that was the thing that was helping me the most and like helping me move forward the most. And I mean, I don't know if like that is going to be the thing for you. I don't know what your thing is. I'm just wanting to let you know like what my thing was and like what made the biggest difference for me. So going ahead and really moving to the other side and feeling that wholeness and choosing to continue to do the energy work that my soul was leading me to do, that was the right path for me. And it's literally the like easiest thing for me to do in the world. And now I know that I have been doing energy work for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, right? Like so many incarnations over and over and over and over, because like now, I mean, I still have the matrix energetics basis in my subconscious of how to do energy work, but it's turned into its own thing. I do it the way I naturally do it. I just know what to do. It is because I've been doing it for so many, like, 1,000 years, I don't know, a really long time. It's like I didn't need to be taught it. I just needed to remember it, if that makes sense. And going to the matrix energetic seminars allowed me to like have that remembering and get my body used to, oh right, we did used to do this. Like, we do actually know exactly how to do this, okay? And it's just literally, it's so easy. It's not even funny. So I wanted to tell you guys that. Let me think if there's anything else I wanted to throw in here. Oh, right. Okay. So then there was that time several years ago where the energy reached the bottom of my body, and then all the issues that I had in my lower chakras decided to clear, which meant that my back ended up going out, ended up not being able to work. That was a delight. I had to work through all of the like fear, and like my muscles were frozen at that time. So I ended up getting trigger point therapy, which is where you go to the physical therapist, not the acupuncturist, the physical therapist, and they stick acupuncture needles in your body, like, I don't know, 3 inches, like all the way in your muscles. It doesn't hurt, you can barely feel it, or there's like a twinge. And I had someone do that on my whole lower back, and it was the most amazing thing ever because my muscles hadn't been moving for a few years at that point, and her doing that unlocked them, and it was like the greatest thing ever. My muscles started to move. I like wanted to cry. So that happened, and then I ended up getting a massage twice a week for like 3 months, and this girl used I feel like it was a bamboo stick cut in half, and it was like filled in with something. And she used to like roll my thighs and the back of my thighs and all the muscles that are in your butt and your back and all of that to like work out all of the rigidness that was in my muscles. And I remember feeling like I had been beat up every time I went in to see her. It was so terrible. But like I knew, but like a good terrible, like I really needed it. And when I would leave, I would feel so much better. I can't even tell you. And she got all my muscles unlocked and moving, and then I was able to like go to the gym and do yoga and actually move my muscles so I could start to get them in shape. And that was amazing. I needed that deeply. She also did cranial sacral work, which is where you energetically tap into the spinal fluid and you move the spinal fluid back and forth, right, and balance it in the body. So she would do about 10 minutes of that every time she would do a massage session on me. So that was amazing. I started to feel like a normal person after that. And then of course, you know, my back issue was resolved. I went back to work and so forth. But I remember that was not a fun time while it was happening. But I look back now and I can see clearly like all those physical issues and needing to like clear them out and really take responsibility for, okay, like I'm not going to have this back problem anymore. I'm not going to be in pain anymore, and I'm not in any pain anymore. I needed to take responsibility for it and like access the ability to heal and to clear that out. And now, like, I don't know if you watch my other videos, but I do my like core workout every morning. And like I feel so good, and doing the core workout also, like I have more happy brain chemicals and all sorts of good things. So anyway, working out, good stuff. So that was part of my like spiritual awakening, was also physically getting all of the trauma out of my muscles and all of that pain and actually releasing it and getting it to transmute out of my body. And then about, I would say in the 5-year range, that was right after my muscle issues, I resolved them. I ended up taking responsibility for all the financial issues that I always had with money, and money's hard, and I can't do this, and I can't support myself, and like all these patterns, right? And I was like, okay, well, I'm done with this. Like, no need to struggle anymore. I've had enough. And I sat down, I wrote down every possible thing I could think of about what my money with issues were at that time, and I deleted all of them. Just energetically went, spent hours for 3 days just doing that, right? I didn't have a job at the time, so I had time. I feel like I wasn't working for like a few weeks there somewhere. That was when I decided to take responsibility and really do something. And I had needed to do that for a while, but I wasn't willing to actually stand up and be like, no, I'm taking responsibility for my financial life, and I'm not gonna like just expect someone to save me. So that was when I stopped doing that I'm gonna get saved thing. And I cleared all that, and then I was like, all right, I'm getting another job, and this job is going to be enough money, and that's just what it is. And so I remember I printed out my resume, and then 24 hours, one of my friends called me, and she's like, hey, you want to come work with me? And I was like, yes, I'll be right there. So within 2 hours, I showed up with my resume, dressed in my best outfit, had an interview with the manager, and was hired. It was like, perfect. So I started a few days later. So that was good, and I actually am still at that job. I've been there for 5 years. Of course, now I'm on like ultra part-time at this point because I don't really need to work there, you know, full-time like I did before. But it's been a great job. It's been perfect. All my friends work there. Like, we have the best time. Things are good. And now, like, on a daily basis, like, I feel really happy. I feel really connected. Like, I have the best time with my friends. I get to do what I love. I have amazing clients from like all over the world. I get to make my YouTube videos, which I like to do, and yeah, like, things are very like naturally flowing, naturally working. And granted, I spent a lot of time focusing on, oh my God, everything's working. So of course, everything keeps working. So I don't know, I just felt called to make this video today for those of you all who are maybe stuck in like the dark night of the soul, the difficult time, things aren't working, things are hard, when are things going to get better? And they do get better, you do get out of the tunnel. You do need to decide that you're getting out of the tunnel though. You need to be like, you know what? Done with this tunnel. This tunnel is no longer interesting. Getting on the other side of it. Okay? So I know that a lot of people, I've seen a few videos on YouTube where people talk about their spiritual awakening and it's like very fast and it happens in a year. And I don't know, I feel like making this video for those of you who it doesn't happen in a year and it is a 10-year situation. And it is like this long, slow slog. And I do want to tell you, it doesn't have to be. You can collapse time. Okay, I know this now. How you collapse time basically is by listening to your intuition and your higher self. I could have had this whole thing go so much smoother and faster if I would have spent more time in theta brain, right? More time in my energy healing brain. And I would have listened to my higher self better, faster, and more. All right, so I had periods spending a lot of time in theta brain, a lot of time doing energy sessions, however that looked, whether I was booking with healers or trading with other healers that I had met at this seminar. And when I was spending most of my time in theta brain and focused on solutions, focused on how things were working, focused on how they were getting better, focusing on the infinite possibilities, the better things went for me and the easier they went. And that was when I realized like I was having like rapid growth. And those were the bright spots in my so-called like healing journey that I had. It wasn't like the whole thing was a dark tunnel, okay? I had a lot of light spots. The light spots were when I was doing more energy work and focusing on limitless possibilities. They were really the thing that made the difference. And when I stopped doing the energy work, because that is a soul-led thing for me to do, when I stopped doing the energy work, or stop doing it as much, is when I would start to focus on how things aren't working, this is taking too long, when is this going to be over? And then of course I would just attract more of that, because I understand very deeply now that literally you are attracting literally what you are vibrating. It's a direct mirror, and it's like so simple that it's almost hard to get fully, you know what I mean? Especially because most people, 99% of people out there, they are not operating under that premise. Like, they don't get that. That everybody is operating as if the world outside of them is separate. And it's like this thing, and they have to like work on the thing, and then they can change the thing when the thing is just a reflection of what's going on in you. I got this really deeply with money. So deeply with money. I spent a lot of time, especially the past 5 years, really owning my sovereignty, owning my power around money, finances, wealth, prosperity, and choosing to be prosperous, okay? And I learned so deeply that focusing on, oh my God, it's working, create circumstances where it works, okay? And it's like, it's so simple. And I don't even know if I could have told my previous self, hey, if you just stop bitching and complaining and started being like, oh my God, this is so amazing, things are working, it's working even better than I thought it was going to be, and I have this and I have this, and like being in the energy of overflow literally solves all of your problems, okay? Being in the energy of I don't have enough and this is hard and this is taking too long, being in the energy of lack literally just creates more lack. And I'm telling you, the universe will give you exactly what you're vibrating at. So if you are constantly vibrating at, I don't have enough and I'm depressed and things are not working for me and I'm the victim and I don't understand why this person did that and that person did this, my job is doing this and this is hard and this is and all of that, you're literally going to wake up the next day to the exact same thing of this isn't working and this is hard. And the universe will go, okay, your wish is my command. And then you'll get this isn't working and this is hard the next day. And then you'll be like, oh, this is so frustrating. You'll be even more frustrated than you were before. And then the universe will go, no problem. We'll make you more frustrated than you were the day before. And then new circumstances and events come that make you more frustrated than you were the day before. And then you're really mad. And the universe goes, oh, your wish is my command. And then the next day, you're really mad. Okay? Oh, case in point. This is a long video, guys. I'm sorry. I'm rambling. My friend at work the other day, He was managing that day. Somebody lost their keys. So then he had to end up helping that person look for the keys. And his story, they never found the keys. But this basically took like an hour and a half of his life, okay, helping the other guy with his keys. And he said to me the next day at work, he's like, okay. He's like, as long as nobody loses their keys today, everything's fine. I need to go to bed early. I have a lot of things to do tomorrow. About 3 hours later, somebody else, no joke, lost their keys. And I felt so bad for him because he just said nobody better lose their keys. But here's what happened. He was in the energy of frustration that somebody had lost their keys, right? So now he's attracted another circumstance to him less than 24 hours later where somebody else has lost their keys. And now he gets to feel, drum roll please, frustrated because now somebody else has lost their keys, right? And it's time to close. Like nobody's got time to look for keys when we're about to close. Or at least nobody wants to look for keys when we're about to close. So like talk about law of attraction. Showed up immediately, just like that. Boom, done, okay? And everything works like that. It is very obvious with money to me because it's just like easy for me to see like the monetary and like what's reflected back to me. So that's how I got it like very emphatically, but you know, the keys story is a good story. If you are in the dark night of the soul, what I would do if I was you, now in my like wisdom of self over here, I'd be like, we're dark night of soul over, so done. So done. Oh my God, it's so nice and light. Look at all this light outside this tunnel. It's beautiful. I can't believe I spent so long in that tunnel. How annoying how long I spent in that tunnel. But you know what? I'm out here now and it's sunny and it's pretty. This is good stuff. Praise the Lord. I'm so over that tunnel. So happy to be out here now in the sunlight. So pretty. And all I would do is focus on the sunlight and how pretty it is out here and how happy and grateful I am that it's finally over and how happy and grateful I am that I'm finally on the other side of it and how happy and grateful I am that, oh my goodness, things are just getting better and better over here. And look at this new thing. This is fun. This is fun. This is fun. Pretty soon, you won't even remember the tunnel. You won't even remember the tunnel. Okay? So, yeah. I hope that this video met you where you are and it was exactly what you needed to hear because that was my intent. You heard exactly what you needed to hear today. Okay? Alright guys, I'll see you all in another video. Bye.